When we think of broken skills in Duel Links, a lot of skills come into mind. Destiny Draw is a skill since game launch, and new skills are constantly introduced whenever a new character is released or a new box or structure deck is available. Recent boxes broke more and more records of most skills released together, with the cross-dimension box introducing a skill for elemental heroes, ancient gears, performables, and fluffles. The existing skill for DDD also got a buff not too long ago, and the addition of a few key support cards made them a top-tier deck. Historically, many top-tier decks in Duel Links were made competitive entirely because of a powerful skill. Recent examples include Phantom Knights, Onomat, Resonators, Gaia, Melodious, Water Xyz, and so much more. These decks almost fully rely on their exclusive skill to be good, so once their skill is nerfed, they immediately become terrible, as clearly seen in the case of Onomats. These skills either increase the consistency of the deck, or allow the deck to do stuff that is hard or straight up impossible to do. For example, Phantom Strategy adds Fog Blade to your deck, and Determination to Duel adds Gandora X to your graveyard out of thin air. We can clearly see a pattern here. Konami is releasing archetypes that are straight up terrible or good archetypes without their full support, and only making them playable with exclusive skills that have extremely strong effects. I'm personally fine with these skills, because they make terrible archetypes playable. In fact, I really like the idea of some of them, like the Chronomaly skill, which solves all the deck's weaknesses while not being broken enough to be top tier. But at this point there are just too many skills like these. Having skills like these once in a while is fine, but Konami needs to keep releasing actual good archetypes and give us full support at the same time. Having a balance of exclusive skill-reliant decks and decks that don't is what I'm saying. Typically, these exclusive skills have heavy deck-building requirements that restrict you on what kind of monsters you must use. For example, Determination to Duel forces you to run 10 gadget monsters. This is a good way to prevent the skills to be abused in other archetypes, but reduces deck-building creativity at the same time. The restrictions of these skills also cannot be too strict, or absolutely no one will use them. My favorite example for this is the Dark Paladin skill, which has the infamous restriction of not allowing you to have duplicate cards in your entire deck. This restriction is so laughably bad that absolutely no one plays it. Seeing decks built around that skill reminds me of decks built by new players, full of single cards for absolutely no reason. Competitive skills typically have some kind of deck building restrictions, but of course there are still some exceptions, the obvious one being Destiny Draw, though skills like these are quite rare nowadays and are likely to be nerfed in the future. Skills like Balance and Restart were great generic skills in the past, but Konami gave them so much heavy restrictions that there is no longer a reason to use any of those skills apart from very specific decks. Over the years, Konami has replaced generic skills with archetype-specific skills. While this isn't a bad thing, as it gives those archetypes an extra layer of uniqueness, but this means that many archetypes that don't have exclusive skills are neglected and much weaker in comparison. While not all exclusive skills are good, those that do tend to perform much better than those that don't. Of course there are exceptions, Shiranui and Kristrans being two of the best examples. These two decks were prevalent in the meta for an incredible amount of time without the use of an exclusive skill. So what am I trying to say here? Unique skills for characters and archetypes aren't a bad thing. I actually quite like the idea of making an anime archetype competitive with the help of a skill, as long as it is not broken, but I also prefer having a few generic skills that other decks can use, other than Destiny Draw, to allow them to keep up with those that have exclusive skills. I don't really like too many skills that require you to take a set amount of damage to activate, because that encourages players to play stall cards and hand traps like Kitoroid, which isn't very fun to play against. Konami really should make better generic skills, because skills are one of the major aspects that make Duel Links a unique way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Character or archetype exclusive skills should also be well balanced in a way that doesn't give them too much of an unfair advantage. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.